We do have minutes from June 1st.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Aaron, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Most all of these budget amendments, I apologize for the number, they're just year-end cleanup stuff, particularly on trustees' commissions, where obviously we've collected more tax, the trustee commission goes up, and then we have to adjust that. You can get rid of those first 2 pages for the time being, that summary financial statement. I think there's an issue with that somebody's working on for me. If they get it done, we'll go through that. And that needs list final granted, we'll go through that later too. The first one is in, the first one that I have here is in county buildings. We understated their longevity pay by $1,600, so we need to increase their longevity pay to keep from overspending the budget.
Motion to approve.
16, how much?
Okay, there is a motion and a second to approve $1,600 longevity pay for county buildings. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Second one, very small, and we're actually going to do this one out of maintenance and repairs. It says fund balance, but we're going to take it out of maintenance repairs. Mike, I'll give you a corrected copy. We have overspent dues and memberships by $200, so we will clean that up without hitting fund balance.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion and a second to approve $200 for dues and memberships.
The next 7 you have are all increases.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now,
The next 7 you have, sorry about that, I will go slower, are all basically related to taxes being up and the commissions that the trustee collects being up. So the first one is in the general fund. We need about another $86,700 to cover the commissions for the trustee. In Fund 121 with sales tax being up, we need an additional $19,460. In 131, the highway fund, we just need about $3,000. In 151, the general debt service fund, $41,700. In the rural debt service fund, about $25,000. And none of this is coming out of fund balance, by the way. Let me point that out to begin with. This is all revenue over and above what we budgeted, so we're increasing the budget. We're not taking it out of fund balance. We're increasing the budgeted revenue to reflect the fact that we received revenue over and above the budget. The next one is for $13,000.
Wait a minute. So all these numbers, what you guys paperclip together are total at the bottom number on the front, correct?
No, they're not totaled on the bottom number on the front. These are all in different funds, which is why they all have to be done separately.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's 86.7 in addition to 41.7.
In the general fund is 86.7. In the special purpose tax fund, Fund 121 is 19,460. In the highway fund is 3,000. In the general debt service fund is 41,700. And the rural debt service fund is 25,000. Other capital projects is 13,000. And in the solid waste disposal fund is 6,000.
So that's 86.7 plus. Oh,
Yes.
Okay,
And that is all, again, covered by revenue over and above what was budgeted.
gotcha.
Mr. Jennings, can we vote on all these together, or do we need to do it separately?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve them all together, but now I'll tell you there'll be separate resolutions. I hate that. Your packet's gonna be thick this fall.
Okay. Okay, there's been a motion to approve these as a group. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next one is to cover a shortage in communication. I'm trying to remember what 533, that's the judges. We have had some issues, we've got a few issues with communications going over.
Can they have it within their budget?
Quite frankly, William, we didn't have the opportunity in the last few days to reach out to them and ask them whether they could give it up from somewhere else or not.
It's some very small amounts, the next few,
Yeah, they are. They're small amounts, but they just keep us from being over when the auditors come in.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve $900 for communications for general session judge. Any comments, concerns?
just a question, if you can ask them if they have it in the budget,
I-
can they move it that way?
Yes, I can. With your permission.
Just change it from fund balance from whatever other line it is?
Yeah, I think with your permission, we can reach out to them and find out if they've got other places that we can take it from. Do you feel good about that, Mike? Yeah. We can talk to them tomorrow and see. I can't begin to describe what things have been like. Just briefly, I was working on county stuff all weekend till 11 o'clock last night and all day today, so
Did
we
Mike,
haven't had a chance to reach out to them.
Mike, do we approve this pending conversation?
Just go ahead and approve it, and then, do it any way you want to. Right now, approve it as it is. If he comes back at you with line item transfer, I don't think anybody.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the $900 for fund balance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Communications, excuse me.
51,310, we also have a problem in communications, $300.
Well, if that's the case, really, the next 5 or 6 are pretty much gonna be about the same thing.
They really are.
So we can do it the same.
Yep, they're all, in fact, they're all 1, 2, 3. I can put all these together in one budget amendment, to be quite honest with you.
And then have all of them as we
Yep.
question.
I can put all these together in one budget amendment. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 here I'll put together in one budget amendment.
And still ask each of them the same question to come in.
Still ask each of them the same question, yes. Yes, but personnel, 53,700 is judicial commissioners. 58,900 I think is PEG. 51,600 is register of deeds. And 58,110 is tourism. And 58,300 is veterans. All those have gone over their communications budget.
Make a motion?
Got 2 for veterans.
We got 2 for veterans?
Yes, we got one that's,
Oh, we have another budget amendment for veterans, yes, we do.
That's different, that's not dealing with
That's different.
communications.
Yeah.
Okay,
You make a motion on all
Make
of
a
them.
motion, combine them and also to approve it?
second.
okay, there's a motion and a second to approve all these budget amendments concerning communications.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Is there a reason why the communications in all these different departments went over? Did we add something or?
I understand that maybe during some of the phone system changeover, there may have been some duplication or something. But, I mean, all I know for sure is that, the phone bills are the phone bills. That's all I can tell you for sure. We did go back and look through it is what we're being charged, so we're slightly under there.
Is that something we're gonna need to fix for next budget year? Or?
We may. I'll probably need to get with Aaron and Ken, because they kind of run the communication side of things and find out. Supposedly, and maybe when we go to, the switch over to voice over IP was gonna, I think, save us money on the phone bill. So when it all shakes out, we may be okay, but I'll need to get their opinion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other comments?
I have a question.
Sure.
Are we with Verizon now, or who are we with right now?
Well, all the phone bills that you're looking at, well, not all the phone bills, it would be a combination of both. So I can't remember I'm ashamed to say, it used to be Windstream for years and years. I can't remember who our local provider is off the top of my head, but for cell phones are Verizon.
And we changed all that over to Spectrum Charter
Spectrum.
at the time.
Yeah.
We did to get all up under one. That's, us doing that allowed us to get the line run out for the rodeo at that time for free.
That's right.
Then we transferred it over to the Expo. Verizon is a cell phone service. This service, I believe what happens here is as they blended, go out of one contract into another, there is some overlap time, and I think that's the extra charges you see here. But Aaron did say that, or Ken did say, that our phone bills will go down with the new service that we got. So you'll see some reduction there. So hopefully any amendments will be on the positive side and not the negative side.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The next one is one that Colonel McFarland brought to me today. He could probably speak to it better than I can, but they need $2,000 in other contracted services and $500 in office supplies. I know the office supplies are for ink for a specific type of printer that they have over there.
That is for a maintenance cartridge for it. Every so often, you have to replace the maintenance, and I'm not sure exactly what that's new to me too, but it tells you you gotta replace it. The other part of it is, we've been building displays about every year, something significant for Wilson County, and due to the COVID virus, we have not, everything's kind of been in limbo. An event has come up, a captain, Marine Corps, was killed at Tarwa in 1943. He's the son of the first mayor, county judge, whose picture's on the wall downstairs, across from the mayor's office. His body, a body was sent here 75 years ago and buried, the wrong body. The real body is coming on the 22nd of July. If we want to make some big displays for that event, so.
Motion to approve.
What are we gonna do with the wrong body? Back to DPAA Hawaii, identify who that is.
I read that in the Senate in Tennessee.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any other comments or concerns? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
The next one came through the EMA committee. It's salary supplements paid to Wema employees. It's additional revenue, and then the salary supplements that'll be paid out.
Motion to approve.
And also, the one right behind that is additional $500 for the private ambulance service that we charge. They have to pay us a fee every year to run a private ambulance service. Again, that's not a 911 service. That's what we call a convalescent transport, which is pickup from nursing home to hospital and that kind of thing.
Y'all doing both of them together?
I'm sorry, I thought they approved the first one. I may
Did you
have-
approve the first?
No, sir, not yet.
I bet.
There's a motion to approve the 55,200. I haven't heard a second to it.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now for the ambulance fund,
Motion to approve.
Second.
motion and a second to approve. Any comments, concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sir?
You may be about to say that there's a lot of accurate information here. The only thing that you need to consider is the rate adjustments for the ambulance transport. One of them is up $20, and one of them's up $20. Wema committee approved that. Y'all need to send it on if you so desire. The other things, the amendments to their policies, the Wema committee took care of that, and that's as far as it needs to go. It doesn't require, so really, one more thing there, and that's the fourth page in there where it says AMB, ambulance medical billing. You'll see there at the bottom, proposed increase $20 and $30.
Motion to forward it to the full commission.
Second.
And Mike, I didn't get to talk to you today, not because you weren't available, but because I didn't get an opportunity and I wasn't sure what needed to come here, so I just brought it all.
I don't know that you're doing fine. Just keep on rolling.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to approve exactly what now?
It's
An
adjusting some of
increase
the
in
rates.
ambulance billing rates, it brings us into
On the last-
certainly allowed, and Brian Newberry and Director Cooper explained it the other night. Those other figures that you see there from other counties, it brings us up consistent with what they're charging.
On page
Okay.
4.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve ambulance charges. Any other comments, concerns?
Are we just raising it to be equal to the surrounding counties, or is there a need for the raise?
Well, I don't know that I heard them say that, but basically, I'm looking at it, it looks to me like it's not leaving any money on the table.
And we're still not anyway at the highest, there's only two. The ones that wouldn't really bring much in, they left it the way it was. On the AMB, the inlets they sent, all the surrounding counties, which they blacked it out, kind of showed what they were doing, and they're just trying to get it more in line to just make it more
Well, if
accurate.
we're making it fine, why do we want to charge people more?
Well, there's two things, this one kind of brings it in line,
I don't have what you have in your hand, do you?
it should be in the packet.
I didn't get it back.
It should be on your desk.
I got one for you, Tommy, I'm sorry.
But still, my question is, why charge people more if there's not a need for the funds?
The real reason is because a lot of the charges go to the government. You get the money from the government, may not get it for that big. It gets written off.
So really, everybody else on this paper is more than what we're actually,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's always written off.
We're still below average.
Did you have it? Okay.
you know, everybody else, if you look on those numbers, are more than really what we're charging anyway.
Well, I mean, that part bothers me. I mean, if we need to do it, let's do it, but if there's not a need, why do you want to charge people more? We're supposed to take care of our folks.
I agree.
It's not, at least that's the way I feel.
Well, I think the idea is to pay off some of the expenses that come with transporting people.
Well,
So, like-
that's the question.
thought it's
I
just to
asked.
get
Is
it
there
in
a need
line.
for the funds?
I took it there.
Well, I think there is, and I think. So this isn't commerce.
No, this is not, this is responding to emergency calls, and, so I will tell you in 10 years, so you have private insurance, you have Medicare, you have Medicaid, you have some work comp stuff here and there, and then you have private pay. And while we certainly do what we can to collect the private pay stuff, if I had a copy of our audit from last year, you would see there's a huge amount in uncollectible. That's private pay. What you're really doing here, if you raise the fee, yeah, you're probably going to collect some more money from some individuals, but you can't get blood out of a turnip. Those people that don't have it can't pay it. But you're going to collect more money from private insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, potentially, et cetera. What you're really doing is collecting more money from the people whose job it is to pay.
Responsible people.
But that'll increase the insurance costs too.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this rate increase. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Sports Authority, by way of explanation on that, we had budgeted $943,000 in property tax. I believe that number is correct. We had a budget, and now I can tell you, I've got it right here. Yeah, we had budgeted $943,000 in property tax from the Speedway property. We actually collected $954,000. If y'all remember, the property tax that we collect on the Speedway property goes directly to the Sports Authority to pay the bonds. So after with the 11,000, we owed them another 11,310. So this is just getting that straightened out so we can pay what we're supposed to pay.
We got a few more on Wema.
Few more on Wema?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
There's two.
We got two policies, and then also a
Mike, I thought Mike said those didn't, y'all didn't need, he didn't need
Those
approval here.
policies in the write-off, I'll take care of in the meeting. Thank you. Those are internal policies down there that the committee approved.
Yeah. I wasn't sure, so I brought them. My bad. So the 11,310 is simply to allow us to pay the property tax that we collected on the Speedway to the Sports Authority for the payment of principal and interest on the bonds.
Have a motion and a second to approve payment to Sports Authority. Is there any other questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let's see, we need 5,100 in other salaries and wages for the Ag Center. They're fine on benefits, but they're gonna draw up a little short in that other salaries and wages line by the end of the year. So this is just to shore that up.
Hotel motel tax?
No,
How about hotel motel tax?
So moved. Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve $5,100 or other salaries and wages for Ag Center. Any questions or concerns? One question, this is just for regular pay, this is no one getting a
No.
increase of anything? All right,
No, nothing like that.
all in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
And the last one is to correct an entry that I made on the refunding bonds. When the refunding bond bills actually came in, I realized I had hit some incorrect accounts. So this fixes them the way they're supposed to be.
That's what I think. But I get out.
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second to fix some mistakes. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? On the agenda, there was another Sports Authority. I guess that's just
That's a mistake.
a mistake. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the Board of Education approved 3 budget amendments last night. They will need to come before you tonight, subject to approval of the Education Committee Thursday night. And I think Michael has them.
I don't have
They didn't
them.
get approved about 9 o'clock last night.
You have
We didn't finish,
Probably not.
there's 3 of them. Where were you at the other night? The night we were here at 9 o'clock. I know, I missed you. Missed the show. Tommy Jones wouldn't do it till you said property tax.
I'm just gonna put down one page.
Put a motion on the floor. Huh?
I tell you what, that'd be fine for me. Yeah.
You know,
Probably deserve it.
Oh, he's already got that one. He's done with that.
Sorry, you had to make 2 trips. You can help.
Give me one more.
Okay.
There you go, Perry, see, there you go, so guy.
Yeah, you got that first one. I've talked to everybody. Barney.
That's why I told him he gotta get us straight. I got that, yeah, I'm good. I got all to go.
look at it.
Any more?
Second and third.
Here's these two, the second, third.
It could come out easy.
Camp.
When that stuff gets you, I'm wound.
429 we got.
Not many.
Hey, do you care what, Wendell, do you care what order I go in? Care what order I go in?
No.
Some don't know.
Ready for me, Wendell?
Yes, sir.
So the first one, we'll just go in numerical order.
The first one's going to be it's a budget amendment 2021-10 summer camp. We're offering summer camp this year by the State Department of Education has told us we need to or have to. And so they have given us funds to do so. So this budget amendment adds those funds, it adds the revenue and expense for that summer camp. And that,
Cash in, cash out.
correct.
Motion approved.
Second.
These are subject to the education committee approval, not necessarily.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve summer camp expenditures, money in, money out, subject to approval of Education Committee. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, so the next one is going to be Budget Amendment 2021-11. And this is our version of an end-of-the-year budget amendment that cleans up lines that were over or under, those types of things. This budget amendment covers Fund 141, Fund 143, and Fund 146. We are not requesting any funds from fund balance or any new funds. This budget amendment also does not give any raises or create any new positions. This is just a cleanup budget amendment for the auditors when they come.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Here again, I assume this is Education Committee have to approve as well? Okay. Subject to. All right, any questions or concerns?
Just a quick question, where, it may not even matter to us, but where's the money coming from? It shows an increase of almost 240,000.
So-
Decrease in 77,000.
Yeah, so if I were to pull out that $80,000 right there where you see an increase in trustees commission and an increase in sales tax, the budget amendment would balance. So the difference should be $160,000 should be the difference in those two. And because we received additional revenue this year, our trustees commission went up, and so that's us booking additional revenue and booking the trustees commission.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, and then the next one is our federal projects fund. It's going to be budget amendment 2021 school federal projects. And all of these budget amendments here, that's why the package and the print is so small. The state approves these. These are all grant funds. So the state approves these. Again, this is kind of money in, money out, if that's what you want to describe it as. But the state has approved those, and that posts our activity for the entire year for that fund.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve school federal projects, Fund 142, subject to approval of Education Committee. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Under new business, we will take on the task of the needs list. And Mayor, I'm going to let you start on this one.
Okay, thank you. I took the needs list, I sent that to everybody and budget committees for sure. Everything is as you asked me, and I hope you had a chance to look at it. You told me to take some things out of some things that you decided not to do. I will admit a mistake that I made, and that is, if you look at the needs list that Aaron presented to y'all at the very beginning, it would say the sheriff needs 8 patrol people, deputies, and then it would list retirement, Social Security, and all of that. Same thing for the SRO, same thing for the other. When you get to the Wema section, it had 6 people for Watertown, 6 people for Lebanon, an investigator that you said no on, and then it listed all of the different other things there, like retirement, Social Security, and all that. But then right below that, it had their drugs and it had the repairs for 3,000. Target Solutions was a line there. Drugs and medical supply, Wema uniforms, and in-service for fire school. Well, on those ones, that was a part of the 991,000, which was the total number we put up there. When I went back and said, hey, okay, we're going to take these 3 firemen out, I just looked at those 2 lines and I forgot to add those other things. So I went back to Joey and said, okay, Repairs are 3,000, I got that, that doesn't change. Drugs and medical supply, 29,000, that don't change. But what about this Target Solutions? And he said that's $90 a person. So I multiplied that times 9, and that's where you see the addition of the one that says Wema, $810. That one changed from what it was before to $810, and it was not included in there. And then the Wema uniforms were $400 a person times 9, so that's where you get the $3,600 for the uniforms. And then the in-service training, that's a fire school they go to, that's $2,000 per person times 9, they get you $18,000. So when we actually did our growth money, we brought it, you said, hey, we'll get 4 out of 7 of those maintenance people, because that carried us right down to the nub. Well, when I had to add these things back in, that put us in the hole $54,000 and $54,410. So the option for us really to say is, okay, do we cut off one of those maintenance people and go to 3? That would even it out. Or Aaron got some growth money brought to him here just recently. Aaron, do you want to speak on that could possibly cover this for us?
I can. You actually, let me grab this too. Sorry. You actually have another sheet in your packet, my sheet of the mayor. This is every need that you've granted thus far and where it's being paid from. So the first 3 pages, or most of the first 3 pages of the general fund, you've got $2,124,878.98 is on page 3, and needs being funded. We actually have growth of $2,124,975, so you've got $9603 left over. The difference, though, is that $259,340, of course, that's going to be a penny shifted off to the school system. When we talked about that, right? Those maintenance personnel right above that, those 4 maintenance personnel will be a fraction of a cent. I think it was actually .0044 is what it turned out to be. The growth that was brought, and I'm hoping it's in this file and not the other one. Since the time, I'll just go ahead and talk about it, since the time that the state has done the certified tax rate, the property assessor has continued to add things. So they brought me up an updated list. It changed growth from, and I will find that piece of paper, I apologize, it's eluding me at the moment, but it did not change it above 3%. It changed it to almost 2.8, 2.79 or 2.8 from 2.68 where it was. So it did add a little more, growth. I will find that because I need it tonight when you get ready to set your tax rate. I know what each fund's share of the rate would be, including, education with the money moved over to cover the 4 maintenance personnel. So we still are not over the 3.5%. So.
Aaron, I guess my question is concerning the $54,410 that additional monies that is under the recurring items list, based on funds that we currently have, is it safe to say that can be taken care of and be left alone?
That's gone. Yes, we're not short 54 anymore.
Okay.
I will go further then. So everything on those very top there of reoccurring money was what you told me to take out and what you told me to put in. And so that should be that exactly. I've taken the needs list and triple checked it to make sure that everything has been accounted for. When you go to the pay adjustments, you remember there were actually 4 brought before you. The merit pay from judicial was pulled. Drug court had 1 person. that they wanted to change from, they had them classified as case manager and wanted to change it to probation officer, because that's kind of what they do. They had the money within their budget to cover that, 41,853. So Aaron has worked with Jeff Dixon to make that adjustment on that one person. Codes had one person that needed a job title change. That was 19,000 and something, benefits and all. So Tom has that money in his budget to make that difference. They're not getting a $19,000 raise. That is the adjustment that was made within that budget for that one person to be changed in the codes department. That was handled within his budget, so they would change the title. Now, the one that I couldn't fix, and that was the property assessor. The property assessor had said, hey, look, he looked at his people, and he wanted to adjust their pay, but that was everybody. So he said the pay plan, as you read that synopsis that he gave you in your budget packet, he said, I've looked at this, and the pay plan has really probably not addressed them over the last 2 years. Their classification's wrong. So I went back and pulled the notes from 2016 of where we started, the adjustment in 2016, the adjustment in 2019, and every one of them have got a sizable raise. So it has adjusted their people. What he was comparing it to was he was taking the letters of agreement from the fee offices and comparing to those offices instead of what the pay plan did, and that was the pay plan kind of compared his people to the other property assessor's office and Sumner, Rutherford, and Williamson County. So they're on that page. So if you could change gears and say, hey, we're going to take the personnel, and compare that to the fee offices and not other comparable offices in other counties. If you want to do that, that's up to you. And then finding the $66,831 would be your next challenge. So I thought I just wanted to look, because I thought, well, if they haven't gotten anything over the past, since 2016, hey, I got it. And I always try to fight for employees. But on this one here, I saw the difference, and he spells that out in that synopsis. I used a letter of agreement of another fee office. So he was comparing his office with a fee office, but he's been compared to property assessor's office, and they have gotten raises over time. So that's kind of the short version of that, and I'll leave that to you to decide or discuss whatever you want to do on that one.
Okay, so the drug court and codes
Are good.
are good. And what'd you say about judicial?
Judicial was pulled. That was just merit pay. She was asking for $10,000 just to give out to people when they did a good job. Aaron actually pulled that one before I got to it.
Okay. Concerning recurring items, before we,
Yes, sir.
I mean, does the drug court and the codes affect any of the totals
No, sir.
on the
It was
above?
done within their own budget, so they asked for no extra money. They had money to do the adjustment within their budget.
Okay, do we need to approve that?
Probably so. So there'll be a record of it.
Okay. Well, let's just deal with the first two sections concerning recurring items and various needs. With the addition of the 5 lines concerning Wema relating to repairs, services, supplies, uniforms, and training, we need to approve that. Is there a motion to do so?
Second, since it was my mistake.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Questions?
If we approve that now and we get over here on the one-time money and we do away with something that we could use this for, that don't create a problem?
Say, give me
don't think
a
so.
little more detail. Give me a little detail.
On the one-time money over here, if we eliminate something that could qualify from the reoccurring items.
But your one-time money can't cover your reoccurring.
You can't use it for a
Not
reoccurring.
reoccurring, okay, I'm sorry,
That's okay. Yes, sir.
And all those 5 new lines concerning Wema are all reoccurring.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other concerns or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, concerning the drug court and codes salary adjustment that will be handled within their budget, is there a motion to approve those?
Motion.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the pay adjustments for drug court and codes. Any other questions or concerns?
I do have one concern is these small departments, are we managing it correctly if they have, one's got 42,000 that they happen to just have in the budget, the other has 20,000.
So to go back to the drug court, you know, it is funded by 3 different revenue sources that that are fees and stuff, not tax dollars. And so he makes his budget up each time. It runs through us, but that's where he got his extra. And then codes moved monies from different line items that they talk with Aaron about in order to cover it.
And I come back in 6 months and say we're low on communication or this or that, and
No, sir, not to my knowledge, no. Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve these twos. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
Excuse me, Wendell, I had one quick question on that. On the drug court, since it's not tax dollars, they're fees, does that money roll from year to year into their same budget, or is it?
It goes to the general fund.
Goes to general fund?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to speak to the non-recurring items?
I can, yes, sir. I was asked by Mr. Jones to take as many of those items out and place those in that one-time expenditure state grant that we were getting for $911,000. So we moved everything that we thought would fit over there to that one, and left the items that we could not move over there. So that turns your capital projects down from what it was down to spending, I think we had $1 million in the beginning, now we're just spending $816,000 for those out of capital projects. And then if you look at the one-time expenditures, all these things are listed on the state grant that we get. Again, as I told you earlier, I'll bring those back to you as soon as they give me the grant, which is sometime around July. We'll fill that out, get approval of that, and I'll bring it back to you at that time to spend the 911 in that manner. Any of those at that time you decide you don't want to do, I guess I just don't get it. Outside of the stuff that we were able to link to vehicles for the sheriff, of the people that you approved, the training, and that kind of stuff that will have to happen. But the other items in there that are not related to that, that you decide you don't want to do that, on that, it's free money coming from the state. They just said, hey, you got to spend it in these areas. That's what they told us before. They could change their mind by the time they give me the grant, but right now we feel like these are safe to come from there. If they can't come from there, and then for some reason we don't get the money, we'll be back at you for that in another manner. But these are one-time expenditures, so they could come from general fund balance, they could come from capital projects. So there's two hefty balances of how to attack them, but if we can get them out of the free money, that would be, to me, the most thing to do if we could.
Okay,
If I don't spend it, I don't get it.
let's
we don't get it.
approve the funds or that's coming out of capital projects first before we address one-time expenditures. Okay,
Same question before, we approve that, and we feel some of this that can go into the one-time expenditure.
Now, that question is,
Before we free up some money and we can pay for some of the patrol cars out of the one-time expenditure.
sure, if you, let's say, going down your thought, maybe, let's do away with the solar battery stuff, let's do away with the commission upgrade system, and we free up X number of dollars. everything I can go take away from over here, that's what we'll do. So,
Used to be a son.
you can do that. That would be your recommendation to the county commission. That wouldn't be the final say on it. Because that grant will have to be brought back for everybody to vote on, not just our committee.
We got to pull things out, that's the final say, right?
No.
One-time expenditure?
I'll bring the whole grant back to everybody. I mean, I'll bring it through you first, and then I'll bring it to them. I guess they could, I guess they could amend it if they wanted to, but I'll bring it back to you first.
Well, personally, I'd love to see the solar generators and the upgrade to the voting system done away with for the time being. My personal recommendation.
You can,
Free up $320,000.
you can do that, and then we bring it back. Then if this other stuff can be taken out of there, I'll submit that as a grant, yes. We won't purchase that until we know for sure what we can get out of the one-time money, out of the state, yes. So, I mean, if you want to, I guess if you want to take it out tonight, you can take it out tonight.
Take it out, we could turn around and take some of these, needs that's coming from capital projects, and use those funds for that, couldn't we?
You can do that. There's not a problem with doing that. I'll have to get, what I'm saying to you is, if you approve tonight, kind of like those items that you approved for Aaron, to go back and ask those people to work within their budgets if they can, it goes away from y'all. Same thing on the capital projects here. You can approve these because you want these items, but if I can get them out of the one time and you take those other things off and I can get them out of here, we'll buy it out of here before we buy it out of there. I gotta buy it either way.
So like the voting system, we asked Ken the other night, it's serving the purpose. It might go another year, 5 years, and at that time, if it does, then we'll take the money out of capital projects and we need to and replace it.
True.
Why spend money we don't have to spend is my question, especially when we could turn around and take some of these needs and have them paid for by the grant money.
Yeah, I think to answer your question is, you can I go first? Thank you. I mean, I think because you had a department head that came to you that said, hey, he comes up here and he sets every night, on Monday night, just hoping it don't screw up, and you're sitting there saying, man, I hope we get this done so we can vote. I had a shot today. I meant to tell everybody that, for my poison ivy, so I'm a little excited. But I mean, that's what he does as a department head. He comes and he does. They go back here, because when it screws up, he knows what y'all do. Y'all say, what's the matter, Aaron? You're my IT guy, man. You can't fix it. I mean, and that is the way we all look at him. I mean, let's get a new IT guy. So that's why he brought it to us. Now, can it last first time? You're probably right. It probably can last, but that's what he is.
I don't know how long it'll last. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But if you take, and some of these items that you want to take out of capital projects and go ahead and pay for them, they'll be paid for. And then if that system lasts for several more years, we can address it at that time. But I don't see it as a real need today myself. And
Fair enough.
to your question about Ken coming, or us coming to Ken wanting to know why it isn't working, I feel sorry for Ken, but now, he's not got people coming to him wanting to know how come we spent $200,000 on a voting system. He doesn't have to answer for that. We do.
True. And the one we got is antiquated, and the people we got to fix it's in California, and it takes a long time they send somebody out here. I mean, it's a whole story, and we've dealt with it ever since I've been here. But I'm either way. Aaron, go ahead.
Well, this is on a much smaller scale. So two sort of humorous things, but they sort of make the point. If there's one thing that we learned in 2020, it's that votes and how you count them matter. And we have had many times in this room where we had to roll call votes. You can't even look you should be able to look on the screen to see if your vote was yes or no, as far as I'm concerned. That's just me. Second off, I hate that they're not here to address the issue, because the fact that they have to come over here 2 hours before a meeting, fingers and toes crossed, bubble gum, duct tape, and spit to try to be sure that that thing gets through a meeting. I can find a 1978 Ford Pinto, and it may still run. And I don't know when it'll die. This thing is dying.
We did give them another person though, so.
Okay? And again, you can wait for it to die, but it will die very soon. It is dying. You know, if they don't come over here 2 hours before the meeting, redo all the connections, it doesn't work.
It was obsolete when it was put in. I was in the room when it happened.
So, I mean, do what you will. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you firsthand. They're over here 2 hours before the meeting testing all the connections. And then still, when we start the meeting, sometimes it doesn't work.
For sure. Yeah, but Mr. Tommy, to answer, I think, your real question, if y'all decide not to approve anything on here, we'll take these capital projects items and take them out of here first before we buy them out of capital projects. Yes, sir. So and as soon as they give me the go-ahead, I'm gonna bring this to you, so you can say, yes, we want it, or no, we don't want it. Because I want to spend all of the 9/11 I can on items so that I don't have to buy. So, I mean, you're the ones going to decide that, not me. But this is the grocery list. And if you just say, hey, we don't want this, then I'm going to stick some sheriff's deputy cars and whatever I can off of here. So I'm going to do what you're asking me to do. Yes, sir.
That's what I
Yeah.
want to make sure can happen before we
Yes.
vote on it.
Yes. So I think we'd have to vote on it to say, yes, it's okay. You guys have the heart that you want to buy the vehicles and buy the gravel and all that stuff. But Mayor, if you can get it out of here, if we don't approve this stuff, and take it out of there. You just got to tell me, yes, you want me to buy it.
None of this on the state grant is in the budget, Mayor.
I know.
Yeah, none of that is in the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we singled it out, so that you wouldn't be paying for it. But we'll do exactly what you're asking. I mean, I already did that with some of it, because we took out the $90,000 for the third ambulance. Since we didn't have the people, we pulled it out. And so I moved some of that money over there, and 2 or 3 other things got pulled out. So, I'm good. Do I need to cover anything else on the one-time items? And I'm not really for sure how you would approve, I mean, besides just proving this is what we want to do.
Okay, after the explanation that y'all have received, is there any changes or motions that need to be made concerning the one-time expenditures or capital project fund?
So could I say this? Could you make a motion? You don't need to worry about the 9/11 stuff tonight because you're not approving that, so don't approve that. Just say, hey, I would like to approve the list coming out of the capital projects with the caveat that says, if you can take it out of that one-time grant money, get it out of there. And I think that answers what y'all want me to do, I think.
But let me understand one thing. You're telling me that the budget committee doesn't have the means to take things out of this one-time grant money?
No, what I told you is that you'll take it out or put it in, but I was gonna bring it to the full commission, that's what I'd said, and let the full commission decide how we spent the grant money because it was concerned with everything.
Do you have the right to take something out of it tonight or not?
If you want to. Yeah, I mean, but it's not ready to fly yet until they give me, hey, Mayor, here's your 9/11, and here's how you can spend it, I don't know, yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah,
But what I'm asking is, does the committee have the right to pull these items out if we so choose before it goes to the full commission?
I think you can get,
There's no need us voting on it right now, it's going to the full commission.
well, before it goes to full commission, it's gonna come to the budget committee. And as soon as they give me the format that
You're saying we have to approve it as a whole as it is right now, or not approve?
I wouldn't approve anything tonight, let me bring it to you.
We're
at the
not
budget
going to approve the one-time expenditures tonight.
No, because it's not, I don't know for sure that I can spend all that. I'm thinking I can, but as soon as they give me the grant that I can write up and get approval, I'm gonna bring it to the budget committee. If you say, hey, we don't want this and this, and it fails at the budget committee, then it never makes it to the county commission. When it gets to the county commission, if 13 of them say, hey, look, I want to amend that, then they can add it back in if they want to. That's all, I was just saying that from the beginning, I wasn't gonna do this grant without bringing it to the full commission. That was my statement.
So in other words, the items listed for capital projects, we can approve that at this point in time with the understanding that if any of those items can be placed
On the
within the
one-time.
state grant, we will do so.
Sure will.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I mean,
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the non-recurring items that will be coming out of capital project fund balance. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, the one-time expenditures, we will not be approving those. We'll wait until we get additional information back from the state concerning how those funds can be spent. And the mayor will bring those back to the budget committee when he gets the information.
Wendell,
Yes,
we need to approve on the first page, the one right below the pay adjustments. The Ag Center fuel, Ag Center maintenance, and Expo utilities.
no, that's coming out of hotel motel tax.
Do we have to do anything with it?
I think we increased the revenues right, Aaron, on the hotel motel tax, and so that's subjected revenue increases like your sales tax and your property tax. Y'all don't approve that either. He guesstimates what those are gonna be, so he'll increase those in order to cover that. And I believe it'll be far beyond that this coming year.
Okay. To be able to approve our budget and set the tax rate, what do we need to do at this point in time? Is that Aaron?
Since I think he's gonna give a short.
Can you make a motion to approve your budget? Motion to send it on the county commission. You'll need a motion to set your tax rate. And you'll need to set your public hearing.
Okay,
All right, your certified tax rate, your final calculation has come in. Your tax rate, as certified by the state of Tennessee, is 1.9089. 1.9089. That breaks down with the allocation of the pennies as follows. 0.6475 cents for the general fund, 0.08.
Hold on,
Yep.
go slow, we gotta
Yes.
write fast.
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I have not passed it out, but I'll give it to you.
Okay, I'll just ask.
Can you email it to us?
Can you email it to
I
us?
sure can.
That'd be great.
0.0837 cents for highway public works, 0.0345 cents for highway capital projects,
Okay.
0.8808 cents for the general purpose school, which also obviously is shared with the Lebanon Special School District, 0.0405 cents for solid waste sanitation, and 0.2220 for solid waste or for general debt service, excuse me, I said solid waste already, for general debt service, 0.2220. Altogether is 1.9089.
What is the penny worth now with that new rate?
Penny is worth $595,000.
I'm sorry,
$595,000.
thank you.
And I'll make a motion to move the budget onto the county commission for approval.
Accept
okay, there's a motion to approve, and there's a second.
set the tax rate at 9 point whatever.
What he just, yes, sir.
9089.
Okay, is there any questions or concerns
Can't see that.
relating to the information that Aaron just gave us? Does anybody want to make changes to anything? Yes, sir.
You know, I think our constituents are coming out of possibly the worst year I can ever remember. County's done pretty well. I think our county finances have done quite well. A year ago, I would have never thought they'd have done so well. But I can't say as much for my constituents. I have people that are still not in homes that were torn up by a tornado a year ago. I have a shopping center that still hadn't reopened from a flood. I have 2 schools that are torn apart and have not even been torn down to be rebuilt yet. And I have a real estate market in West Wilson County that's so bad, or I guess so good, such a seller's market, you can't sell unless you already own a house or you'll be homeless. Because you can't buy, you'll be a renter. And it's kind of sad to me that as good as we've had it, that the needs list we don't seem to be doing anything about is our constituents themselves, who have come out of a pretty terrible year. The state of Tennessee, however, they're extending their tax-free weekend to a tax-free week. They're extending foods, all kinds of foods, restaurants. They're even talking about restaurants. And it just, I don't know how we could do it. But I'll tell you, I think a lot of our constituents who just now got a Tennessee tax reappraisal after all this terrible year, where half are going to have higher taxes no matter what we do tonight, because that's the way averages work. Half of everyone assessed gets a tax increase, half of everyone assessed gets a tax decrease. A lot of people are going to get a tax increase if you set this tax rate right here. Is there any way in the world we could reduce taxes a little bit? I'm not talking about half or a third or 10%, or maybe not even 1%, a penny or two, a nickel. Could we? Is it possible? I mean, there is a needs list out there in the community, you know. It's not healed up in my district. And that would be my comment. Thanks.
Would you like me to speak? Sure. I mean, the sentiment is admirable, and maybe there's a way that we can help some of those people with the American Rescue Plan. Time will tell. What concerns me, as charged with looking out for the finances of the county, is I know next year, if you drop the tax rate a nickel, if you drop it down to $1.85, first off, you've given away the reoccurring money that you just granted in growth. So you're going to have recurring expenditures that you now don't have recurring revenues to pay for. That's first. Second is, every year I have a commissioner come up to me, not the same commissioner, I have a commissioner come up to me and say something to the effect of, I don't think there's very much we'll need to do this year, is there? And every year that needs list comes forward, and I think it's legitimate. I think Wema desperately needs another ambulance in Lebanon, where 42% of the calls are. I mean, 42% of the calls are right here. We've known it for X number of years, and while we've made improvements, we've made strides, we've yet to have that third ambulance in Lebanon. I guarantee, we already know Robert Bryan, Sheriff Bryan, is coming next year asking us to fund a certain amount of people to go in that jail. There's a pay study that's going to be redone. So I guess what I have to say, and I know, look, it's my job to be unpopular, so let me just do my job. What I have to say is, when the rubber meets the road and the pay study shows that it's time to step up and pay your employees, are you going to do it? When the rubber meets the road and it's time to step up and add people to that jail, are you going to do it? There's only one way to do it, guys. Sales tax is tapped out. You don't get that money anyway. Adequate facilities tax can only be used for capital purposes. When it comes time to pay your county employees, add employees to the jail, the sheriff's office, patrol, Wema people, there's only one source that's realistic for that money, and that's property tax. That's the gospel. I mean, would I lower it? I would beg you not to, but I would understand your vote if you did. I would say no. And yeah, I'll be the one in the paper in the morning, and that's fine.
Mike,
Television too, man, I mean.
Mike, I don't want to get the cart before the horse, but do we need to approve the budget before we set the tax rate?
Doesn't make any difference tonight.
Can I
Okay.
ask for a 10-minute recess? I got a commissioner that's got a real serious question that she need to know. I need a 10-minute recess, please.
There's a motion to have a recess. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay, you go.
10 minutes. Our ourselves back together to our own seats. We'll try to get this meeting over with.
I think that's a problem. Get a lot more taxes.
Decent by now, you can't go there. You know, I ain't saying I'm.
Send me a text and then I'll send you.
Okay, ready?
Mr. Chairman, you had a motion to recommend the tax rate.
Okay, is there a motion to go back in session here?
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
That motion.
Motion and a second, all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to set the tax rate at 1.9089.
Down somewhere.
Is there any additional comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we now need a motion to approve the budget that goes with that tax rate. Have a motion and a second to approve the budget. Is there any questions or concerns about that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. That's unanimous. Okay, we need to set a time for the public hearing.
I'd say later, I won't know, but I'd say 6:30.
Second.
Instead of 6, we all get here an hour early and nobody shows up. Go drink coffee and stand around for an hour.
I think we ought to give them at least an hour anyway.
Nobody will be here, no tax increase.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Bobby could bring all his people, say, well,
They may want to talk, they may want to come and talk
Isn't that
about
right?
their,
Okay, anyone from the budget committee want to make a motion concerning public hearing?
Motion, public hearing be said, whatever Kenny Reese said.
whatever.
That would be
6:30, he
6:30?
said.
6:30.
He said 6:30.
That's right.
Is that what you want?
That's what I want. 30 minutes ought to be enough.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to set the public hearing at 6:30. Any additional comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Who made the second, Commissioner Marlowe? Mr. Glover?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is there any other business?
And they have recommended the tax rate, recommended the budget, set the public hearing. Do you need anything else?
No, sir, I'll have the budget, the appropriations resolution, the tax rate resolution.
You still got your magic machine? Okay. As far as I know, you don't need anything else.
I don't think so either.
Always
No
give
need to
a
meet on
application
Thursday?
because I'm afraid
No need to meet on Thursday night, are there?
No need to meet on Thursday night.
I think you're ready to go.
So, just so you're clear, all of you don't have this yet. The column that you're looking at is that 21-22 rate? That's what y'all were asking me for?
Yeah.
Stuck in here long.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
Whether when he's passing that out, if I can.
There's only, I do have one other item that was brought to me that I need to bring to you if I can at this time, Commissioner.
Yes, sir, we have, and William has something as well.
Okay. In conversation with the sheriff, he said it would take a little while to work his process up on that radio system that he brought before us, that we were going to try to get from the American Rescue Plan. And if you are willing to let him start the process, which I think that would be saying, yes, Sheriff, you can go ahead and start getting your materials together, not bidding it, but getting the materials together, that we will either try to get it out of the ARP, if not, we'll take it out of capital projects, then that would allow him to go forth. That was asked to me by a commissioner to present to you, so I'm doing that this time. If you say, no, we're gonna wait till the ARP comes in and then we'll decide at that time, then he just needs to be on hold. Otherwise, if you think we're gonna do it either way, and yes, you can go ahead and get your ducks in a row to get it ready to go to bid, because he said it takes a little while, then that's okay too.
As of yesterday, ARP is here, 14 million.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
will there be any expense for the sheriff to do that, Mayor?
I can't answer that. I don't think so, but I don't know that, Mr. Tommy. I can't, I don't know that. Yes, sir.
Talking about the sheriff, what about Wema doing it at the same time? I mean,
I think they're working together.
okay.
They're working
It'll be the
together.
whole package.
Yes, sir. They're gonna work together. So, I mean, I think maybe it's just the will of the committee that we're gonna do the radio system one way or the other, either capital projects or, ARP. If that is the will of the body, then I think you can tell them to do preliminary work as long as it don't cost them any money.
So moved.
Is that a motion?
I think so.
Okay, okay, what was the amount of money? And
$3
where
million.
is that again? I'm sorry.
3 million. That was his estimate. Of course, he'll do all his bid work and put it out to bid, but he won't do that until he gets it for sure that either ARP is gonna pay for it or you're gonna pay for it.
It is not listed anywhere right now, Commissioner Marlowe. We had not previously discussed either as a need in the general fund, of course, nor as coming out of capital projects, nor as part of the state grant. Those were the three categories that we had discussed to a certain degree. We knew the 3 million was out there, but exactly the hope was that we would be able to figure out a way to get it funded from ARP. I know they're gonna work on that.
And just so we'll all be on the same page, everything that's a possibility for the ARP is gonna be brought back to the budget committee, for the budget committee to decide the route to go there. And then once they approve that direction, then we'll take it to the full commission. Before we bring it to the budget committee, we're gonna submit it to the feds to say, hey, are the things we got down here legit, or they fly? So that we're not spending money that we would have to give back. So we're gonna work on that, as well. So, but as soon as we just had to get through all this first.
So all we're doing at this point in time is just giving him permission to start getting a list together and getting quotes.
I think, so. I think you're really making a commitment to it, but you're gonna buy it one way or the other. If you're not willing to make that statement tonight, then I say we just stay on hold.
Okay, Tommy, is that what you meant? Okay.
But how did we've got to do something to get a real number, Mayor, to know what we need to do.
He's given us an estimate of 3 million, and I think what we were gonna try to do was find the funds first, either by way of ARP. If they did that and you approved that, then he would put it out to bid and get us a real number. If that don't work, then we bring it back to you and say, hey, do you wanna take it out of capital projects? That would be the second option. And then once you said that, then he would go to work on getting the bids. The commissioner was saying to me that this was a pretty large process to get all that stuff done. And if we waited for a month or two to do that, he'd be a month or two out getting everything put together. That's what he was asking for, just some leeway to go ahead and work. Now, I guess he could always work on it without even asking us, but if he wanted to. Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with going through a bid process or getting quotes, but to go ahead and say we're gonna do it no matter what, I don't know.
So we won't do that, and I'll just tell him that, hey, just go ahead and start working all the preliminary stuff you can without spending any money, and we'll let him know as quick as we can get an answer from ARP.
Well, the project's gonna have to be bid anyway.
Yes.
It sounds like what he's asking for is he wants you to do the preparation to bid the project when you know where the money's gonna come from.
Yes.
And that's kind of the way I took your
That's
motion.
the way I meant it, but I don't wanna obligate us to something.
No, I think y'all still got.
That's what the explanation sort of sounded like.
But I think he's wanting to get everything together to get ready to bid.
I'd
Like
still
you
make,
did the road
I'd
department.
still make that same motion, but I wouldn't want to be wholly obligated to fund it.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to do the legwork to
You ready to bid?
be ready to bid. Okay. Any comments, concerns? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, William, you have something?
To tell Aaron, his department, and the mayor, thank you for getting all this stuff together. You probably saved us a few weeks by getting us the information ahead of time, let us be able to study it and look over it. And hopefully make some wise decisions for our people in our county.
Appreciate that. You guys do the work, the organization part helps us make it easier to digest, I guess.
Okay, the only thing I want to say is I'm sorry I spelled patrol wrong.
Yep.
I spelled it petrol.
Sarah's still a little raw because somebody blamed her for it, and so she's still a little
That was
sad.
me. I apologize. Of course, I didn't know I did it until Vanetta told me.
She's the one that blamed Sarah.
Okay.
Well, I knew you were an educator, and I didn't want to embarrass you.
Oh, well. Man, I can't spell cats part of the time.
He's an educator from Mount Dewey.
Okay, is any other business need to take place? Looking for one more motion?
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, everyone.